Now, before we get into goals versus system, for somebody who hasn't read the book, could you talk about that concept in Atomic Habits, getting 1% better every day?
This is one of the key ideas in the book. And it's just this idea that tiny changes add up to a surprising or remarkable degree. So the math of this, if you get 1% better each day for a year, so 1.01 to the 365th power, you get 37.78 times better by the end of the year. If you get 1% worse, so 0.99 to the 365th power, you drive yourself almost all the way down to zero. I think it's 0.03. And so you have these results that are shockingly large or shockingly small based on little tiny actions that you do each day. And I think it's interesting because, like, what is the difference between a choice that's 1% better, 1% worse? I mean, on any given day, not a whole lot. I mean, what is the difference between somebody who reads for 10 minutes today and somebody who doesn't read at all? Basically nothing. Like reading for 10 minutes does not make you a genius. But if you're the type of person who always goes to bed a little bit smarter than they were when they woke up, the person who always finds a little bit of time to learn something new, yeah, that can be a pretty meaningful difference in wisdom and insight, especially over a 10, 20, 30-year period. So we all have these habits that we're doing each day, and it's easy to overlook them, but time will magnify whatever you feed it. So if you have good habits, time becomes your ally. And every day that goes by, you put yourself in a stronger position. If you have bad habits, time becomes your enemy. And every day that goes by, you dig the hole a little bit deeper. And that's really what getting 1% better is about. And it's just about this difference that a tiny change can make, the difference that a small improvement or being on a slightly different trajectory can result in. Small changes, when they're compounded over a great distance or a long time, can lead you to a very different result.
It's hard to wrap your mind around the fact that if I just focus on getting 1% better every day for a year, that I end up 37.7 times better.
Effects of your habits can also almost always be surprising what they can turn into. Now, your habits are not exactly like a mathematical formula, right? But the principle of trying to find some small way to improve and trusting with how that can accumulate and compound over time, that is very true. And it also, I think, is very much how it feels on a given day, which is the actions feel kind of insignificant on a daily basis. They're very easy to overlook on a daily basis and very surprising what they turn into, good and bad, a year or 2 or 3 from now. And so it's really about mastering those small daily actions and what that can lead us to in the long run.
What are the top 2 or 3 surprising ones that if you did 1% better every day, you'd be shocked at where you ended up in a year?
You'd be surprised if you work on almost anything consistently for, say, 2 years, you're almost guaranteed to be in the top, 1 to 5% of the population on it. I mean, nobody else is spending that amount of time on it. So that doesn't mean that you're going to play in the NBA if you practice basketball for 2 years, but it does mean you will be a much better basketball player.